Flurry Heart, Equestrias' Greatest Monster, written by Cartoon Lover 13, read by 8th Flame. Death to Flurry Heart, Part 1. The sound of soft coos echoed around the room. The sound came from the foal that Princess Cadence held in her hooves. Princess Flurry Heart, Cadence yawned as she put the foal down in the crib. For once, she's actually sleeping peacefully. Cadence turned around to see that the voice had come from her disheveled husband, standing in the nursery doorway. He was right. Although she slept a lot in the day, she often woke up in the middle of the night crying and screaming until either Cadence or Shining Armor could come to calm her down. Even though I haven't gotten any sleep recently, I wouldn't give her up for anything, said Cadence. Shining Armor smiled. Yeah. Much to Cadence's displeasure, Shining Armor was dozing off and his eyes were starting to close. Tired, are we? Asked Cadence, walking towards her husband. Shining Armor jolted. What? Cadence let out a chuckle and then frowned. What is it, Katie? Asked Shining Armor. Cadence sighed. It just seems like you're coping with this whole parenthood thing a lot better than me. What? Cadence, you're a great mother and an incredible wife and a wonderful ruler. You're doing fine. Cadence exhaled. I guess this feeling comes to every parent. I just hope I'm doing a good job. Shining stroked his wife's cheek with one hoof. You are doing a great job. Flurry will be a great pony in the future. They each kissed the forehead of their foal. Princess Cadence turned on the baby monitor and turned off the light of the nursery. The rulers of the Crystal Empire then headed downstairs to the dining hall. Honestly, Shining, did you really name your baby after when she nearly destroyed the Crystal Empire? Asked Twilight Sparkle. Shining Armor glared at the princess. Hey, Cadence agreed! Luna raised an eyebrow at her niece, who in return let out a defeated sigh. A mare can only take so much, Auntie Luna. It was either Flurry Heart or Skylar, and you don't want to know how Shiny thought about the name Skylar. Celestial let out a chuckle, and so did everybody else. At the dinner table, after the newborn foal had nearly destroyed the Crystal Empire, a relaxing dinner was needed. In the dining room were all the elements of harmony: four princesses, Starlight Glimmer, and Sunburst, and Shining Armor. Princess Twilight finished her strawberry cake and put down her fork, turning to her new apprentice to talk about their new friendship lesson. For Starlight was deep in a hushed conversation with her old friend. Sunburst, the two unicorns noticed the alicorn staring at them and quickly ended their discussion. So, Starlight, how did you two become friends again? Asked Twilight. Starlight Glimmer idly levitated her knife, spinning it in the air while she spoke. Oh, well, at first it was pretty awkward, and we only had a short encounter. We then bonded when the Empire was being invaded by the icy snow. We admitted our past to one another. Twilight nodded towards Starlight's untouched dessert. Not hungry? Starlight bolted her head towards her teacher. Oh, didn't notice that. Starlight then quickly used her magic to cut into her sliced cake and used a fork to lift it to her lips. Yum! Twilight thought her student was acting strangely. It wasn't like her to forget about dessert. Was she feeling unwell? Before she could ask, she was distracted by Princess Celestia calling out her name. Starlight turned back to Sunburst, lowering her voice to a whisper. Princess Cadence's eyes fluttered open as a familiar loud coos and giggles slowly made her conscious. She was barely awake, and she looked to her right to see her sleeping husband snoring peacefully. On her nightstand was the baby monitor, which had woken her from her long overdue slumber. She could clearly hear the coos and giggles of Flurry Heart. Awake, but happy. Shining Armor stirred in his sleep and slowly awoke and mumbled, Your turn. Your turn. He turned to his side and then drifted off to sleep. The love princess groaned, but Shining was right. It was her turn. She half rolled, half crawled out of bed, rubbing her eyes, yawning and rocking to the door. She reflected on how unusual it was to be woken by such happy noises. Being woken in the middle of the night wasn't exactly welcome, but Flurry's sweet little giggles were a lot better than the usual wails and screams that pierced Cadence's eardrums at 1 o'clock in the morning. The pink alicorn ambled along the crystalline corridor, heading from her bedchamber towards the nursery. She felt so tired that she wasn't sure if she was sleepwalking. When Cadence reached the nursery, she lazily pushed the door open with her hooves. She could have used magic, but effort? A gasp, Cadence's eyes flew open as quick as a lightning bolt. A tall figure, a black cloak, a knife. The Princess of Love let out an ear-piercing shriek. The cloaked assassin pocketed the sharp-looking blade in some beat-up old saddlebags and quickly grabbed Flurry Heart, cried and screamed out. Cadence stood her ground in the doorway. Moments ago she was half asleep, but now she was wide awake and adrenaline was coursing through her veins. There was no way this pony was getting past her. The assassin's eyes flicked to the open window. Cadence looked towards it too. "Guards!" she screamed. The cloaked ponies charged directly at her. Cadence knew she couldn't back away, but she closed her eyes and flinched, bracing herself for an impact. Then that never happened. Opening her eyes again, she looked behind her. Teleportation with the cloak. She hadn't noticed her horn. "Stop!" shrieked Cadence, running after the assassin, who still held her daughter. Luna emerged from her guest room, already awake and seeing what was happening, banged on her older sister's door. The cloaked figure released a blue wave of magical energy, which flung the crystal guards back against the cold wall, knocking them unconscious. Cadence bolted after the assassin, tears running down her face. The Princess of the Night flew after them and then teleported right in front of the assassin, firing a powerful spell at the cloaked intruder. The assassin threw up a magical shield to block it just in time, and the two beams of magic clashed into each other. The ponies locked in stalemate. Fallout from the battle tore up the floor. In seconds, Cadence arrived at the scene and her horn began to glow. "Stop!" she yelled at Luna, helping the assassin push back Luna's beam. "Don't harm her! She has Flurry!" Luna at once let her magic drop, and the assassin's beam knocked the Princess of the Night off her hooves. "Give me back my baby!" Cadence shouted, charging once more at the assassin. She threw her shoulder at the cloaked pony, just as the pony teleported behind her again. The assassin ran the other direction, down the corridor, but was suddenly wrapped in a pink aurora, and pulled off her hooves into the air. A blue magical glow came from under her hood, but nothing happened. She kicked her hooves helplessly. What's happening?" came a feminine voice from beneath the robe. "I'm lifting you up," Twilight Sparkle announced, "and I'm blocking your attempts to teleport away," Celestia explained. The four princesses surrounded the cloaked pony, and Twilight carefully lowered her to the floor. The pony sighed defeatedly, and the Princess of Friendship at last released her. The assassin knew she had no way of escaping now. Several crystal guards surrounded the assassin, pointing their spears at her. "Your Majesties, are you all right?" "We will be," Cadence answered. She addressed the cloaked pony. "Return my daughter unharmed, and I give you my word that we will be merciful." The pink alicorn gently took her baby out of the assassin's hooves and held her full, trying to calm her down. By now, other ponies were starting to arrive at the scene. What happened?" asked Starlight Glimmer, ready and fluttershy. Shrugged. Sunburst simply stared at the scene. "Some pony tried to kill Princess Flurry Heart," Cadence explained. The new arrivals gasped at the unexpected news. Let me at him!" Applejack demanded, marching towards the captive pony until Reddy held her back. "Not just some pony," Luna corrected. "I fought her. This could only be a very powerful unicorn. Oh, no. It couldn't be Chrysalis, could it?" "There's only one way to find out," said Twilight. Using her magic, she lifted off the cloak covering the assassin's identity. The dark pink mare stood up. She was tall, about as tall as Luna, and had an elegant horn. Her mane and tail were cut short and starting to gray, but shoved hints of purple, pink, and yellow. Her eyes were a darker shade of purple and showed a mixture of fear and defiance. She looked battered, and not just by her fight tonight. Part of her right ear was missing, and her body showed multiple scars and burn marks that had time to heal. She is an Alcon. Her left wing, too, was missing, replaced by a mechanical substitute. The ponies assembled and stood in disbelief. Shining Armor was the first to speak. His eyes moved from the assassin to his wife and back again. It can't be. It looks just like... Twilight walked up and stood beside him. Yes, it's Cadence. Author's note. Finally, it's done. This project has been in the works since like May. I'd like to thank Fidel Spark, my co-author, and my editor, Angry Lass. The concept for this story is from Rated Pony Star. Comments are welcomed. Also, if you know who is the artist for the cover art, please tell me. Expect a new chapter soon. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this fanfic. This is 8th Flame, and catch y'all in the next video. Peace.